2022 had some incredible titles for gamers of all sorts to play. Whether you wanted a deep narrative adventure or a cozy quiet game to relax with, there were scary games, funny games, games that made us cry, and games that made us throw our controllers through our TVs. We all hopefully found something we enjoyed this year, but now it's a time of reflection, a time to look back at the absolute best of the best games we played throughout 2022.
My name's CGDannyB and I'm back again to tell you my top 10 games for this year. Now typically these videos include games of all sizes, AAAs, indies, whole 9 yards. But this year, my top 10 will only include indie experiences. So games the like of God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West, though I love those games, will not be on this list. This year, it's for the indies. As per usual, I just need to clarify that this is my personal top 10. I'm not saying that any of these games are critically better than one another, I'm just saying this is how I would rank my favorite games of the year. But please feel free to sound off in the comments what your favorite games were for the year. I'll even let you include some AAAs, but you should mention an indie, it's kind of the point. But we can't start a top 10 without mentioning, well, some honorable mentions.
Potion Permit, a calm and relaxing potion making game where you move to a new village that has no idea what modern medicine can do. I wish I had more time with this, but hopefully there's more in the future. The Wandering Village. Take your time building up your own community all on the back of a giant monster named Onbu as he marches through scorching deserts, freezing tundras, and poison gas clouds. We Are OFK. Following the adventure of 4 young artists who just want to make it big in the music industry, We Are OFK was a bit more of a show than a game, but still a nice narrative experience. As Dusk Falls, covering the stories of multiple characters through gas station heists, police chases, drug ring busts, and even more insanity. This is a great game for the streamer to sit back and let chat wreak havoc on this world. Stray, explore a desolate world through the eyes of a cat, but let's face it, y'all did not need me to explain this game to you, you already knew what it was. Justice Sucks. A follow-up remake to Roomba First Blood, Justice Sucks is about a small vacuum cleaner trying to save his family from an evil corporation. Curse to Golf. Going from the best golfer in the league to fighting your way out of golf purgatory, Curse to Golf is a one-of-a-kind golfing experience. There's a place for everything, and everything should be in its place, in a little to the left. Hide, Cut, and Misplay Cards in Card Shark, a title with an incredibly unique gameplay style and vintage visuals to go along with it. Find the rhythm in your daily workout while scrolling through Twitter and while grabbing some food in Melatonin. Monster Road Trip. The next entry into the Monster Prom series, Monster Road Trip is all about adventuring with your friends and seeing what chaos you can get yourselves into. Cuphead and the Delicious Last Course. Now it isn't a full game itself, but I'll be damned if I wasn't going to include Cuphead on this list. And now that the honorable mentions have been, well, mentioned, it's time to move on to our top 10. Neon White dropped the summer of last year, and even though I enjoyed the demo, I wanted to hold off hoping it would get a PlayStation release. And spoiler alert, it did. And since it dropped on December 13th, this game has been the monster keeping me from getting this video done. Neon White is a hyper-stylized speed-running first-person shooter, all about parkouring through buildings and blasting demons with guns that spawn from playing cards. You'll play as Neon White, an assassin hand-selected from hell to participate in a competition to win a permanent place in heaven. All he has to do is be the fastest Neon around. Though you can just mainline the game and focus on beating each level to progress through the story, I found my personal joy in 100%ing each and every level as I progressed, acing the time on each level and collecting all the gifts so I can create deeper relationships with the other Neons competing against me. The narrative's a little corny, super big weeb animu energy from the get-go, but the combination of persona relationships and the clean looking level design makes Neon White a must-play game from 2022. Now I'd like to think that if I did buy this game on Steam back when it launched, it might have had a higher ranking on this list, but come on, being in the top 10 is still pretty great. Another major indie release from this past summer, Escape Academy was the perfect way to experience the magic of an escape room in the comfort of your own home. While being secretly tested in your local escape room, you get invited to become a new student at the titular Escape Academy. Here you'll be challenged with earning stars to graduate and become, well, we don't know exactly what you're trying to become, but probably like a cool spy or an FBI agent or something cool like that. I had a blast playing this game on stream along with my chat. We all questioned every possible corner of each room, completing all of the puzzles before time ran out. Oh my god! Escape Academy provided me with this constant back and forth of feeling either really smart or really dumb. One moment I'd be plowing through a level, knowing exactly which buttons to push, which levers to pull, and boom, level complete. And then other levels I'd be staring at a globe for 10 minutes trying to figure out how exactly this damn thing made any sense. Even with the pages of notes I literally was taking while playing the game. So if you're looking to be challenged but also have a great time along the way, Escape Academy is a game that I cannot recommend enough.
Okay, so after this year, it was going to be nearly impossible to create one of these lists without including a handful of roguelikes, because there were a lot of them. So here's our first roguelite of the year, Dome Keeper.
I didn't get a lot of time to talk about Dome Keeper in content this year, But this was the game that broke in my Steam Deck. As a lone survivor, you'll dig for resources to upgrade your dome as you fend off against these ghastly shadow creatures who are trying to infiltrate your only line of defense. As you excavate for resources, you'll be able to upgrade your weapons, your movement speed, your digging power, the walls of your dome, and even get a handy dandy digging dinosaur named Drillbert. I don't know if the word exists for something being absolutely mindless, yet requiring full attention at the same time, but that's how I felt playing Dome Keeper. Turning off my brain for anything except for digging and breathing. And maybe some fine dining slipped in there too. The repetition of casually chipping away at dirt to collect resources for my base, to hastily rush back to the top and put them to use, was an entrancing gameplay loop. Diving through a world mostly made up of dark brown, maroon, and orange colors, I always got that spark of excitement when I saw something sparkling in my path below, knowing I found something important to make use of. And since I did play this on my Steam Deck, I wasn't able to capture any footage, so now I have the perfect excuse to sink more time into Dome Keeper.
After quarantine, we all know the feeling of having to drag ourselves to work and not wanting to do anything but go back to bed. Now, as bad as your boss may be, I'm about 85% sure that you've never had the literal Grim Reaper forcing you to get back to work.
Have a Nice Death is but another action roguelike on this list, where you as the Grim Reaper are exploring the halls of hell to get your lazy managers off their asses and back to work. Similarly to the way I described Dome Keeper's color palette, Have a Nice Death is primarily black and white, while the weapons you use add that splash of color to show that you mean business. The game's combat is super fast and feels devastating no matter which weapon you're using. And there are so many ways to compare this game to the likes of Hollow Knight, the somber setting, the visual tone, the cute yet creepy character designs, and many more reasons. But we've got more games to talk about today. As one of my more popular reaction videos on TikTok, I've been dying to play this game since it was announced at the Game Awards over a year ago, and I was not disappointed with my experience.
Oh man, indie devs sure love their roguelikes, don't they? But I can't imagine there's any more I could possibly talk about today.
He's back, baby! So I couldn't possibly make a list the same year a new Shovel Knight game came out and not include it on the list. As the third game from Yacht Club and the second major spin-off, Shovel Knight Dig is about, well, it's about digging. After Drill Knight interrupts your peaceful fireside sleep and steals your hard-earned treasure, you have to excavate to the center of the earth to retrieve your spoils. Though Shovel Knight Dig takes on a different genre from the original entry, Dig still shares that familiarity to the classic Shovel Knight that we all love. The digging, the bouncing, the swinging of the shovel, it's all there. But this blue-cladded spelunker doesn't just rely on his old equipment. There are a multitude of new artifacts and tools to help you build your preferred loadout and reach your objective faster. And you're gonna need them, because you'll always have that looming fear of Drill Knight's giant excavator that'll leave you buried in your own grave. And all of this is wrapped in an incredibly new art style that surpasses the nostalgia of retro platformers, making everything in the game look so much more detailed and pleasing to look at. Shovel Knight as a series will always hold a special place in my heart, so whatever Yacht Club unearths next for our little shovel boy here, you can bet I'll be there. Alright, I think that's actually it for roguelikes this time. Now let's kick back and relax with something much cozier, Bear and Breakfast. Meet Hank, a somewhat clueless bear who lives in the woods and takes on the responsibility of running a chain of bed and breakfast locations throughout the valley. The first night we streamed this game, we spent hours creating voices and identities for the diverse cast of weird, goofy, and outlandish characters that you'll meet along the way.
Good. This better have been worth your time, because next time you're taking him back in a jar.
You'll forage through different biomes to find building materials, so you can renovate and upgrade old abandoned buildings and make them inhabitable by people coming to town. Some of your customers will just want a cozy place to spend their weekend away from their daily life, while other tenants will be far more needy, requiring higher level furniture and amenities. So don't be shocked when they start complaining about the bed wasn't soft enough, or there wasn't enough food for me to eat, or someone took my door away when I was sleepy and I couldn't leave my room for the duration of my stay. Wah, wah, wah. Go cry about it. I heard a lot of critiques of the controls on the Nintendo Switch version of the game, and I had full intention of playing Bear and Breakfast on my Switch when it came out. But this year I've been trying to play a lot more games on my PC rather than waiting, and I can say I have no regrets experiencing this cozy little bear management game in the best way possible. This next game grabbed my attention with its gorgeous animations and kept me hooked with wanting to see a bunch of fictional characters fall in love. And that game is Potionomics. 1/3 dating sim, 1/3 deck builder, and 1/3 alchemist simulator. In Potionomics, you'll play as Sylvia, a young potion brewer whose uncle just passed away. And now you've inherited his old rundown potion shop and all of his debt along with it. Now you need to build relationships in this new town to drum up business and earn that cash money to recover from this financial burden. And even though there are a bunch of amazing characters that you'll fall in love with along the way, there are a handful of other shopkeepers who are trying to run you out of town. And look, I know it'll be really hard to be mad at the big bosom goth mommy insulting you, but you gotta be tough. And speaking of hard, why is this game so difficult? I can honestly say I was not prepared for the level of skill this game required when it came to time management and crafting the right potions. I had to reset my game 3 times because I could not beat the first major boss since my potions weren't good enough. The devs even had to nerf the first boss a week or so after release because people couldn't beat her. But honestly, the game is about taking your time, enjoying your conversation with the people you meet, and allowing them to help you better yourself and your potion making skills. So if you're ready to get butterflies in your stomach while talking to some cute people, Potionomics is the way to go. And if you aren't sure who to date first, oh my god, Mint is so freaking cute. Look at those eyes, that haircut. Oh my god, those arms. Anyway, yeah, Potionomics. Next up, we have the best Pikmin game to ever exist, Tinykin. Join Milo as he explores an exciting new world with your Tinykin, these small alien-like creatures that have special powers. Tinykin is another great casual experience because there's no combat, no difficult challenges, no big bad bosses to defeat. It's just you, your Tinykin, and a huge world to explore. As you're researching this mysterious home, the world will be filled with constant and wonderful distractions. You'll look in every nook and cranny trying to find more and more collectibles to add to your research. I can't think of a moment in Tinykin where I wasn't pondering something along the lines of, is that door open over there? Or, what's in that slightly ajar dresser drawer? There is mystery behind every corner as you and your tiny friends explore this giant house. Or I guess a normal sized house, but you're just really small. Oh, and I can't forget to talk about the adorable little Tinykin helping you with your research. There are 5 different types of Tinykin. Some are strong, some explode, but my personal favorites are the ones that just stack up really, really high. Listening to these little dudes stack up higher and higher is almost like popping a full sheet of bubble wrap in one go. Except these bubbles can keep on popping. My chat and I loved embarking on this adventure together so much that one of my viewers even drew me in the style of the game, hanging out with a blue Tinykin. So shout out to Post-it Roof, you understand branding.
So fighting games are really cool, but I suck at them, so typically I hate them. But Sifu is easily the best single-player fighting game that I have ever played.
As a young Kung Fu master in training, your Sifu is murdered right in front of you, and now you set out to seek revenge on the people responsible. Sifu's gameplay at its core is a 3D arena fighter against hordes of enemies, creating different combinations of throws, kicks, and punches to eliminate all the grunts in front of you, to reach the end of the level and take down just one of your targets. But there's also an aging mechanic for your character. Each time you fall in battle, a counter increases. When you respawn, you'll age up by the number of years equal to your counter. As you age, your combat skills become more impressive and get more deadly, but your body becomes significantly more frail, so bad guys hit a lot harder now. Saying that I loved getting the combos down pat and being able to overpower enemies is an understatement, because I can't lie, the game is hard. Very hard. But no matter how many times I went down, I kept finding that motivation to come back and destroy these goons time after time until clearing a level. Combine that with impeccable level design, an energizing soundtrack, and badass visual effects, Sifu was an all-around well-crafted experience. Back when nominees were revealed for the Game Awards, I got into a debate on TikTok whether Sifu should be allowed to be nominated for Best Fighting Game, and I 100% think that it deserves that nomination. The games industry is changing every single day, and though fighting games tend to have a particular formula to them, I think Sifu is a stepping stone that'll broaden that genre sooner rather than later.
So as I reach my number 1 game for 2022, I know I said I wanted to talk exclusively about indie games, but guys, God of War Ragnarok was so good. So my game of the year is God of War Ragnarok.
You spineless message. How dare you disrespect my godly name? You fail to follow your one decree of honoring indie titles.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll make my number 1 an indie.
Silence! You shall not speak without permission. Now, I'll give you one more chance. What is your indie game of the year?
Okay, my indie game of the year is Cult of the Lamb.
Excellent. Very good. So, see you for Monopoly this weekend?
Yeah, sure.
Great. I come dibs on the top net.
God, I hate Monopoly.
Well, I thought I was done with roguelikes, but here we go again. Back in July, I made one of my first TikTok reviews, stating how Cult of the Lamb instantly became one of my most anticipated games for 2022. But I never could have guessed how infatuated I'd actually become with the game upon full release, shattering any and all expectations I had for the title. Playing as the titular lamb who is about to be sacrificed, you're rescued by the One Who Waits, an evil god who forces you to create a cult in honor of his name. Now, my personal experience with Cult of the Lamb existed in 2 different ways. The first one being my solo playthrough on my PlayStation 4 version, where I focused heavily on doing everything, completing each area by defeating each boss, upgrading my camp of cultists known as the Lapis Legion, and completing each task I could find from the various NPCs around the world. I guess you could consider this one my hardcore gamer run. But then there was my second experience, my streamer run. Now I was playing my PS5 copy with my community, where our cult was known as the Couch Dwellers. Now since I was playing the console version, I wasn't able to use the plugin that was made by Devolver Digital to actually include my viewers as cult members. So I had made a channel point reward to allow them to join the cult, where I'd write down their names and add them as we continue to recruit new characters. And this was easily one of the most engaging stream series that we had all year. My viewers were so excited to see their animal cultists come to life. Coming back from our daily hunts, I'd have some of my viewers running up to me and begging for me to make them a bowl of poop soup.
But poker asked to be fed poop, and I'm gonna do that.
But that wasn't the best part. The best part was seeing the person the cultist was named after light up in the chat, being so excited to have their moment on the screen, regardless of how gross, dirty, or morbid their character's request really was. Or sometimes the complete opposite would happen. I'd have a group of animals turn against the one who waits and start an uprising, so I'd have to lock viewers up next to the outhouse to make them think about their transgressions. This relationship between a beloved community member in real life and a fictional animal they helped create spawned easily one of my favorite streaming experiences this year. As I sat down to build this list, I internally debated with myself what game was going to be in that #1 slot. And though almost every game on this list had an argument to be at the top, Cult of the Lamb was constantly the little bug in my ear that I couldn't get out. Because at the end of the day, Cult of the Lamb was to me what Hades was to a lot of other people back in 2018. A masterpiece that I wished would never end.
Well guys, those are my top 10 games for 2022. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm show that people should be watching this video, and it helps the channel grow. And I'd love to know what everybody's favorite game for 2022 was, so if you let me know in the comments, I'm trying to reply to everybody. And from the bottom of my heart, I have to thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me this year on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, to all of it, all the social media. 2022 has been easily the biggest year that I've had for content creation, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me this year. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next year for my top 10 games of 2023. Bitches.